Oh, you got to walk that lonesome valley. Oh, you got to walk it for yourself. Ain't nobody can walk it for you. You got to walk it for yourself. My mother had to walk that lonesome valley. Oh, she had to walk it for herself. Wasn't nobody gonna walk it for her. And she had to walk it for herself. My father had to walk that lonesome valley. Oh, he had to walk it for himself. There wasn't nobody gonna walk it for him. Oh, he had to walk it for himself. Now Jesus had to walk that lonesome valley. Was nobody gonna walk it for him? Okay, um, that's my thoughts on uh, Jesus. I believe Jesus was a man like a person like me, you, or anybody else. I think that if you elevate him to the level of a God to be worshiped, to be prayed to, you're missing the message. You're missing the message that we all have that divine spark in us and that we can all, I am the door. We can all walk through that door and we can all attain to that higher level of being in one way or another through behavior. And he made like the ultimate sacrifice according to the stories of, just putting it all out there, telling people what they didn't want to hear, and then, dying for it as a rebel. And it wasn't, the Romans didn't really care, according to the stories. It was the other religious people that cared, because he was messing with their whole hierarchy. He was basically saying, you guys are useless, you know. You're just carving out jobs for yourself, you know. I found that, I went out and I had my vision quest in the desert, and I found that stuff on my own. You guys serve no purpose. So, those are my own personal beliefs about deity, that as vile as the human race is, it's like it has the potentiality in it. And that's what the message of the story of Jesus is. I don't believe the Bible. I don't believe in deification of the works of man's hands. I believe that's idolatry. So I don't believe that, that there's such a thing as infallible words on a page that a man wrote. Okay? There can be sacred meanings behind words, but words mean different things to different people. And semantics is a thing. I mean, um, plus you're talking about something that happened 2,000 years ago. Now, I kind of did that spontaneously, the whole Lonesome Valley thing, but I'll put a link on the guy who actually sings that song, named Mississippi John Hurt. And you know, that song, he sings a lot of like spirituals and stuff like that, but that song is like pointing that out, like, Jesus had to walk that lonesome valley too, right along with his mother and his father, and like any other human being. So, but that wasn't really the purpose. That was just some kind of spontaneous thing that came out of me. That really wasn't the purpose of me coming on here yet again. Is I wanted to thank the people that actually listened to and responded to the overwhelmed video. Jen, Mason, and Betty B. And Betty B, I hope you found the hidden video that Mason found. I don't know if I gave that to you before, but it's like, it's some of the stuff that I always talk about on here. Like can't go there. My mouth is all numbed up right now with Orajel, and I woke up at least without a headache. I mean, my stomach's probably going to be making some noises because my appetite's just gone, and I haven't been eating too much. Um, but you know, talking to strangers about my situation, I mean, I don't see how that, how that's going to help me. They don't, or how really this helps me because I understand what I'm going through. And also, you know, some of you might understand, at least in part, of what I'm going through because of the what lack of benzos due to your body, and a lot of you have anxiety issues and stuff. So I've been thinking, just let them take all four teeth, and because this front tooth, I think I'm getting pain from it anyway. This what do they call that? The incisor, the fang. Getting pain from it anyway, so I'll just let them take all four. And maybe there is like a domino effect, like you get an infection and it spreads across the root. Maybe it has to be like a thing where they stop a fire by making a fire, like burning an area around it, so there's no more fuel for it to get to. And this tooth right here, it has like the infection on this side of it. So maybe if they pull, it'd have to be this one, this one, this one, and this one. If they pull all four of them, um, uh, you know, the anxiety, man, and me facing that though, and knowing that the spaces that's gonna leave, because so I have three teeth missing up here, but I had like one tooth in the middle that was necrotic. That was just when I was starting to deal with the benzo thing. It's like I finally, after so many, like literally 13 months, I finally found a dentist who set me up with an oral surgeon who pulled that necrotic tooth. And then, and I had like three blank spaces right in a row. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blank spaces right in a row. I mean, I don't know. I don't really feel like, um, I'm starting to feel pain there anyway. I don't really feel like going through procedures because it's not like a simple procedure what they're going to have to do there with these two front teeth if I want to plunk down the $2,000 to save them. And then if they're just going to cause me problems again, just get rid of them. I don't want that. I want to have like some teeth. That's all I want is some teeth and a chewing surface. That's all I want. I don't. My chewing surface right now is these two. back teeth right here, and the ones that are going to get pulled. It's like I don't want to be eating soup and noodles and you know astronaut food, old people like pureed food and stuff. There's an old commercial that you may or may not remember. It's like it was promoting take care of your teeth, and it's like if you don't see the dentist, if you see the dentist, you eat this apple, and they show an apple. If you don't see the dentist, you eat this apple, and they throw it into a blender and make it into applesauce. Um, yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot of things to go through, and it's a lot of stuff at once. You know, it's not like I'm unexperienced at suffering. Um, it's not like I've been suffering emotionally my whole life. I'm suffering physically since I was 15. And 15 or 16, I always had something wrong with me. It's just a matter of degree. But yeah, I just want to thank the people that actually sat through that and responded to that. And some of them have been following me for a long time. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just something I have to go through. And like I said, it's tough going through stuff like that alone. Um, and I got very reasonable trust issues with the people in my life. You know, even the even this one person, like they got sick on me, but they turned on me, and it's like that's the worst to me is like a trusted person or a family member like turning on you, betraying you, lighting into you, yelling at you, you know. And it's like, look, if you be mad at somebody, what are you mad at me for? Be mad at whatever God you believe in for giving me this lot. Be mad at somebody else. It's like I've been nothing but kind to you and good to you. Because I really am. I mean, that's not hype. That's not like ego or anything like that. I'm a very kind, um, generous person, and you might even say like too selfless, and that's probably part of what got me in a lot in the fix that I'm in is just general selflessness. Or I'd have like a big, huge bankroll, and not everybody was parasitic and predatory about taking that money either. It was just my idea. It's like I just you come from a poor family. I mean, you help them out. I'm good with money. I don't need a whole lot of things. I can save money, and yeah, it's a complicated thing. Um, but no, yesterday was pretty devastating. I just laid around. And now this cat wants to come in all the time, which I encouraged him to do because I thought I was going to be moving out of here. I was misled, and you know, after a while, you kind of figure like the law of averages, something has to go right. With me, the law of averages, like I'm rolling snake eyes in boxcars. That's just the way it is. You figure something has to go right. You know, it took me forever to get a scooter. I bought this scooter over here, and it accelerates too quickly. In the meantime, I've tried other things. It's all documented on here. And, I have weird accidents like falling on top of a radiator and putting shark gill fins. style burns on my stomach and almost pulling a refrigerator on top of me yesterday when I did some kind of weird split, which I don't know. I'm not a cheerleader and never have been, so I don't know how I didn't pull a groin muscle or do some kind of damage. I mean, I felt sore that day. I haven't taken any of that codeine. Um, I started out with 10 pills. They got prescribed to me last Friday. I believe it's Saturday. I was supposed to use them up by Wednesday and take them twice a day. I only took 4 of them over the span of a week. So not only do I not have a problem with opiates, I don't, I'm kind of like saving them because they might do something stupid at this place. Like poor people dentistry is terrifying. They might be do something stupid at this place. Like here's 800. We just pulled 4 teeth out of your head. Here's 800 milligram Motrin pills to take care of the pain. Now, my niece has a good dentist, and she came here. She was all messed up on tramadol, but I think she had them pulled in the morning, and she doesn't. She has a real high pain tolerance, much higher than mine, and she don't take much pills. But she said she took those, and you know, I would not. It wouldn't surprise me at all if you remember I'm the guy who had epididymitis, which is a swollen, infected testicle, and they didn't give me an aspirin. They gave me no pain medication walking out of there. Um, so it wouldn't surprise me at all if they pulled 4 teeth out of my head and gave me over the counter painkiller. That's all those Motrin pills are. They give you like 800 milligrams of Motrin, like you can't buy regular Motrin and take 1,000 milligrams of it if you wanted to. It's just stupid. But I have um, a bottle of Valium. I even have Xanax if it has to come to that, which I only took the one Xanax because I don't want to go back there. I'm going to take Xanax before I go in there to get um, those teeth pulled. I know I'm going to be a wreck. I'm worried about keeping my strength up and keeping healthy enough to go through something like that. That can't be a small thing getting 4 teeth like right in a row, like ripped out of your head. Um, it's only natural. Excuse me. A little bit of coffee got away there. It's only natural when you get hit with news like that, bad news you're not expecting, and that's pretty bad news. Where you're expecting one tooth pulled and like maybe two, and they just want to rip out all the way into the front of your mouth. I'll still have my smilers, you know, and maybe save up for a dental implant, you know. But yeah, I am way too reclined to be drinking coffee. But yeah, it'd probably be a good idea for me to get out of bed today and walk around and see. Yesterday, the day before is when I did the accidental split like this and almost pulled the refrigerator on top of me. It was a Thursday. So yesterday I was kind of sore, and it's like, let's take it easy for a day. Plus I was uber depressed, and how douchey did that sound? I was super depressed and uh, trying to figure out how the hell I'm gonna get through this next thing. And then like when you get bad event after bad event after bad event piled on top of you, and you keep trying and you keep trying and you keep trying and you just keep getting hammered down, you know. As far as like talking to strangers, like I feel like I know some of you folks, but basically I'm talking to strangers right now, but I'm also talking to myself. Like, what would, I've never done anything like that, like call like a hotline or whatever and have somebody listen to me talk. I don't see that's no different than what I'm doing now. And now instead of one person, um, I get maybe 10 people um, listening to me. So, you know, I feel like I gave it a try. I feel like I gave it a try, and I'm going to give this dental thing a try. I mean, it's coming fresh off of like September 12th is when I had my arrhythmia, and then I got my heart shock September 13th. And I still don't feel completely recovered from that. So there's my train. So that's concerning, because contrary to popular belief, if you already have, especially if you already have like compromised problems, teeth are a serious deal. Um, but what I want, yeah, I think I'm just gonna let them pull them all out. If they're gone, they're gonna they're not gonna cause me any problems after they heal up and after the little shards or whatever work their way out. You know, it's just more suffering. I mean, I don't want to go back on Xanax. I mean, God, I don't want to do that. I mean, it wasn't hard to transition from Xanax to Valium. It wasn't that hard, but I don't want to fuck with Xanax no more. Just for these dental things, so I can actually physically get in the chair, you know. And as far as like my big revelation about, I hinted at it a billion times about my bowel issues. It's like this is coming up on Wednesday. It was last Wednesday when I was in a dentist. It's Saturday. I haven't had a bowel movement since last Wednesday because I guess because I haven't been eating a lot, and also because like I took a bunch of generic Imodium type pills. So, what the hell kind of life is this? I mean, who? Why am I even wearing glasses? How are you gonna see my beautiful eyes, my deep, soulful eyes with glasses on? My deep, soulful, terrified eyes. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you've been following this whole catastrophe, and I've maintained a sense of humor through most of it, but damn it, this joke is wearing awful thin. You know, it's one thing to have the universe step on you like Godzilla, but why does it have to like grind me out like a cigarette butt on top of it? I mean, I maintained a sense of humor through most of it, and you know, even when everything would be going wrong, like you know, and it's just like what I'm trying to think of things that went right, but there was maybe some things that went right in there, like I had some appointments that went smoothly. There's a whole lot in there that just just went bad. Like my whole plan was bad, is because like I had my heart shocked on the 5th of December of last year, and then I was like I had a dental appointment that day, and I was like not messing with my teeth, You know, I can only do so much at once. I got a bad heart. I got this. I got this. I got this. Concentrate on my leg. I'm gonna get something done about my leg. And then not only did I get nothing done about my leg, they seem to have made it worse with the one procedure they did do to my leg and the EMG test that they did to my leg. So while that was going on, you know, maybe they could have caught something going on here, or maybe they're such bad dentists it wouldn't have mattered. I mean, I didn't. This like this tooth right here just kind of like chipped off, and I just assumed that it was a one of their fillings like popping off, because that happened here where a cap popped off, and there's other places where it's clearly like their work because it's just too symmetrical. And I don't know, you know. I know one thing, man. Like I just feel like the people in my life are like, most of them are selfish. That's what I feel like about. They're selfish. It's like they're not checking up on me. It's like, they're not like looking into my situation. At the same time, I can't blame them because my situation is bad, and it's like I said, it's like a tree tottering in the forest. Do you want to rush up and see how the tree's doing, or do you want to get the hell out of the way of it? Because you figure it's going to fall anyway. I mean, but, you know, I feel like I've supported these people, and then I'm not getting it back. I'm Not only am I not getting the support back, but I'm getting abuse back in a lot of cases, and indifference, and you know, like I said, I paid for those people's furnace last year when their mother was in the hospital, and it was $200. He just calls me up out of the blue and says that, yeah, I got the furnace guy here. It's gonna cost more than I thought. And this guy, I know for a fact that, this guy, he doesn't do coke. He's just a heavy weed smoker, and he drinks. And so I know he isn't conning me out of $200. I know he wouldn't steal from me. I just know it. You know, he might ruin my property and not take care of my stuff, and he might use me, but he's not gonna outright steal from me. So I'm like, is the guy there right now? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, get your butt over here and bring a cigarette. And so I give him the $200, and then he pays uh, um, the furnace guy so they can have heat for last winter. And you know, ain't nobody else gonna do that for that guy. He ain't got nobody else he can call up and say, look, man, I need $200. You know, and this is the guy that, like, like I said, broke all those promises and abandoned us, abandoned the family that took him in and stuff. So I don't understand how you live with yourself when you're like that. I guess you stay high and drunk, maybe to, like the Led Zeppelin song where it says, "When your conscience hits, you knock it back with pills." Do 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 do. Living, loving. She's just a woman. Whatever song that is, I don't know. I don't listen to that stuff anymore. Remember that line? When your conscience hits, you knock it back with pills. I don't know how you live with yourself behaving like that. But anyways, so you've heard this before. I said, but I got a new rule. I said, you don't have to pay the $200 back. It's like I'm forgiven this debt, this debt, this debt. You know, all the debts in the household are forgiven. But I got $20 rule. I'm only loaning out $20 at a time. So what the fuck did they do? Like they wait like so many months, and then they put the uh, old matriarch on the phone and asked to borrow $40. And I'm like, you know, I got a $20 limit. So no, I'm not loaning you $40. And she's like, well, how about me? Will you loan me $40? And I'm like, no, I'm not loaning you $40. I'm like, you caught me on the wrong damn day. And then, you know, just hung up the phone. And it's like I said in the last video, you know, the guy was like, yeah, but what if I need to borrow more than $20? It's like, I just forgave you. Who gives away $200 to somebody that treats them like garbage? You know, it's so I don't worry, like the whole Jesus Christian thing. I don't worry about that because I embody that. I live it. Okay, I live that stuff. I live that. You know, if a man asks you for a shirt, give him your cloak as well. I mean, I live that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the way I behave. That's what got me in the hospital on September 12th. It's because I felt sorry for. I felt those Christian ethics that my mother put into me, and felt bad for that war vet guy upstairs. You know, the guy who sets people's hair on fire when they're sleeping, punches women and stuff like that. You know, I didn't know that about him, but I just like, you ain't got no power. So that's how that started out. It's like a extension cord still out there. Suppose I can reel it back in. I haven't seen hide nor hair of that guy or heard anything about him. Haven't heard him for like ever. So, you know, I'll leave it out there until the really cold weather hits. What difference does it make? I can lock the window and still have that cord out there, you know. But yeah, so when people tell me about, you know, Jesus this and Jesus that, it's like listen, man, you're not only preaching to the choir, you're preaching to somebody who embodies those ethics. You know, gives of themselves. I don't know if you got that from the video I made yesterday, but man, not everybody is gonna admit the things that I admit on here. Okay, that's just honesty, and that's like um, letting people know that there's people out there that got it hard, and that like whatever you're going through, that maybe I have a little harder than you do. And that's also a Christian ethic. It's like making people feel better, even if it's confessing to unpleasant facts about yourself. So, you know, I don't want to. I'm sorry, folks, but I just don't want to hear none of the Jesus stuff. You know, I mean, if you don't get it from just the general aura that I put out, or the fact that I'm calm and patient in the face of the universe just stomping all over me, and just accepting of it. You know, I even read a passage out of the last Algonquin, um, which I was surprised that very few people listened to, but it's cool. I had, you know, it's there. It'll be there if anybody wants to listen to it. But I even read a passage about that where the Native American guy, he just kind of like accepts it. He's like, you know, it's part of Teaching Manitou, or God's will, you know, that this happened this way. So he just accepts the things that happens, and life is more about dealing with what happens to him. It's not about pissing and moaning and whining about it, which I'll admit to a lot of pissing and moaning and whining. I will admit to that. You know, what do I do on here but complain? So um, I got the window open. That means I can turn the heater back on and heat up my coffee. But you know, maybe tomorrow I'll even reach a higher level of acceptance and just, I'm better today than I was yesterday. I'll reach a higher level of acceptance and be like, I accept that. Four teeth gone, no teeth from here all the way back. Just give me a chewing surface. Give me a couple of teeth left where I can, not have that sensation that my brother-in-law talked about where he didn't have any teeth and he just can close his mouth. He said it was, and he demonstrated it for me. He said it's just so weird. It's like, I don't want it. That's horror movie stuff to me. This is a horror movie life. That's why I made the war vet laugh because I said I don't have nightmares. A lot of times I just call them like unpleasant dreams because a lot of times I'll have a nightmare and I'll wake up to my life and I'm like, let me go back to sleep. That nightmare was better. let me let me go back to sleep and have that bad dream. You know. But really, I don't have nightmares. I mean, I've known people that are so plagued by nightmares they're afraid to go to sleep. Like the biggest, scariest dude I've ever met in my life. Um, he didn't tell me this, but if his best friend told me this, that like the dude has trouble sleeping for fear of nightmares, gets real bad nightmares, and it's like I don't I don't really have nightmares. I don't. I have dreams that are unpleasant. And like I said, a lot of times I wake up to them and it's like my life is the nightmare. It's like, I'll go back into the bad dream or the weird dream or whatever, or unpleasant dream. But I mean, nightmares where you're actually afraid and then you're afraid to go back to sleep because you're afraid of falling back into nightmares and that kind of stuff I don't have. But no, I've always been like, I've always explored the spiritual aspect of life. Of course, I have. I had a spinal tumor when I was 16. I was threatened with death at a very early age. I had a huge spinal reconstruction surgery when I was 18. I found out I had a disease when I was around 20 that they had no cure for and they knew very little about, and all the treatment options were like bizarre, like actually putting you in a coma for it, a ketamine coma, and or doing sympathectomies, or it's like bombing you out of your skull on opioids, and turning you into an addict. And it's like, of course, if that doesn't make you explore a spiritual aspect to life, I mean, what does? I went through all this stuff. Like, I'm 51. I went through all this stuff. I was into like spiritual stuff when I was 15. I was reading the Bible and like probably read the whole. I think I read the whole Bible when I was 15. Um, and I think it's part of what made me quit the Catholic Church. Was like, yeah, that's what made me quit the Catholic Church because I'm like, these people aren't following their own instruction manual. It's I don't know where they're getting half of this crap. It's like, well, there's nothing in here about priests having to remain celibate. Or there's nothing in here about, what is this nonsense I'm going to like every Sunday where I'm just kneeling on a kneeler and standing up and then singing and then listening to a guy say a homily, which is mostly not interesting. I mean, it's all like a ritual meaninglessness, you know. So I don't want to insult anybody about that, but that just I basically tell you you're preaching to the choir. That's just um, it doesn't really irritate me that because I know that works for a lot of people. You know, I know that my best friend is a fundamentalist Christian. Okay, and I would never, ever insult him. He'd be quiet, stomach. I would never, never insult him or his beliefs. But at the same time, I just steer the conversation away from it if he starts like, because he's like a really respected member of his church, and he's not a minister, as he puts it. He's just a guy, but he does public speaking, and sometimes he'll go into that mode with me, and I just kind of like steer the conversation away from that, or you know, I'm not phony with him. I don't like lie to him. I did kind of lie to his mother because I'm not a cruel person. Because I was talking to his mother, who was 88. This was before she found out she had cancer, and she says, I guess all we can do is hope to get better, and put our trust in the Lord or whatever. And I'm like, that's exactly right, you know. And I didn't say the things that I said here or anything like that. I wouldn't do that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Somebody that's 88 years old and that bad of health and everything. And I called my friend and I asked about his mom. I've been having trouble getting a hold of him, and they have like a treatment plan set up for her, and actually there's a pretty good chance that she'll survive and recover from this particular form of lymphoma, which is surprising at the age of 88, but they have somebody in the family that's a registered nurse, and she's got years of experience, and she said she's seen people go through this before, and she was not the type to give like false hope. She said she's seen a 92-year-old survive this, you know. So, you know, but yeah, as far as today, I don't know what I'm going to do today. My voice is still not good, and I screwed up the lyrics. How can you screw up the lyrics when the lyrics are the same all the time? But I just wanted to, it's of course, uh, Jesus had to walk that lonesome valley. He had to walk it by himself, But I screwed that up. My voice has not been too good lately, in general. Kind of worried about. No, I could be sick from my teeth. Teeth can make you sick, but I don't feel very good. I want to stay healthy enough to go through. Let's call it surgery. I want to go through my tooth surgery. It's just like they have an oral surgeon do it, so it's surgery. I want to be. I got a few days yet to mentally prepare myself for it as best I can. I figure like just let them take them all. Just let them take all four of them, and like I said, man, I can walk. If I can walk again in a normal fashion and have dentures, I'll take that. I'll take that deal. You know, it's funny because you can't go. I couldn't go into detail about like why I haven't been in there since last November. All the things that happened, all the bed bugs, the getting sprayed with poison, the toxic relationship, and I think that's the only relationship you could possibly have with the war vet upstairs, the climate around here, the people using crack upstairs, I can't go into all that. In the leg. I just concentrated on telling him about the leg. That I wanted to concentrate on getting the leg fixed because I had the walker. I went in on a walker. And what's odd yesterday is like I won't bother like reading you the text. I guess I will. I mean, only got my diehard fans on here now. You know. So let's see. So this guy, he writes me a message, and okay, last thing I wrote to him is like, it died down, so it most likely wasn't a pipe, but an overflow. When I was talking about water hitting the ceiling a couple weeks ago, and I said, walking up those steps hurt. Illegal guests don't answer doors or questions about doors. I guess. I just wanted to know if it was a pipe. Thanks for helping out. And he said I sent Michelle a text about it, and I haven't heard back. Now, yesterday, in the afternoon, he wrote me. She told me today that the tub looks like it's about to go through the floor. Okay, she's over top of me. Not exactly sure where the tub is, but she's over top of me. She claims to have told Gerald, the landlord, but he hasn't been around. Please let me know if you're still getting water leaking. I don't understand why I have to bark to get him to move on anything around here. Please keep me posted. So apparently she said the tub looks like it's about to go through the floor. And I don't think he understands that, you know, a very minuscule part of her apartment is over top of his. The war vet is over top of him. She's over top of me. So if there's going to be any tubs coming through the floor and killing people, it's going to be me getting squashed. But yeah, that would seem to be like an appropriate way to go somehow. Since the universe is like Godzilla stomping on me, man, just have uh, a big heavy woman and a big heavy bunch of water come through the ceiling and squash me and land on top of me while I'm in bed and kill me. But yeah, he doesn't get it yet about Gerald. He said like he's a really smart guy too, man. But Gerald is such an expert con man, it's unbelievable. But he's like, well, you just don't know how to handle them. Is his take on my problems with Gerald. And what it is like he's in the back room and I'm in the front with the front window, so I see all the drug activity, and I'm talking to Gerald about it, and I see what goes on, and I'm sure Gerald does damage control with him, and like talks to him and puts it all on me. Like the war vet who was getting in my business was like I don't what's the beef anyway between you and Steve. And I actually heard part of this conversation because they were on the porch next to one of my windows, and he was like, I don't know, we used to be friends and talk about sports and stuff like that. It's like I really don't understand it. Meanwhile, if you're a diehard uh, watcher of mine, you know that I read him like every freaking thing that he did, all the drug activity he ignored, and how he doesn't care where the money comes from. He doesn't care if it's blood money. He let his dad pick through junky garbage, the whole thing. And like I all spelled it out to him, and what a piece of crap he is, and how he's a total sociopath, and how I don't like to talk to sociopaths He's a narcissistic sociopath too. And, but this guy back here, he doesn't get it, or he's not coming to grips with it, or he's still being conned. He's like, I don't understand why I have to keep barking at him about the problems around here. And, it's like, um, because he's a evil slumlord who doesn't care where the money comes from. He only cares about money. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't care about me. You're in a wheelchair. I'm all crippled up and suffering. And he's letting drug trades flourish in here. A separate crack, uh, at first a relatively innocuous marijuana trade, and then crack trade, not innocuous, and then meth trade, very not innocuous, very pernicious. And he doesn't. I'm just shocked that a guy that's that smart, as smart as that guy is he's not getting it, or maybe he doesn't want to get it. Like, you're at the mercy of a sociopathic, evil slumlord. Period. And he knows he's got you where he wants you. And I'm pretty sure that this is a type of guy, like, the landlord is responsible for spraying for bed bugs, but he made this woman upstairs pay for getting the bed bugs sprayed for, and told me that ordinarily that's the tenant's responsibility. Well, I talked to experts like my care source manager about it, and she's like, no, that's the landlord's responsibility to deal with that situation. He's got to provide you with you know, a insect-free environment to live in. It's like that's the landlord's responsibility, but he took this woman's money, and he didn't take my money, because I was like, nope, not happening. But he was like, oh, that's, I don't, you brought those in here. You had somebody come into your place, and I'm like, nobody comes here, you know. And as I said in another video, he was probably right, or he could have not been right. You just don't know. But I had people come here that, like I said, my brother came here to clean the house in a car that I bought from my sister, um, who stepped on me like a snail. And I don't remember what, I don't remember how many, I think that was 2016. And anyways, so there's a good chance that he was right, but it doesn't matter. It's not the way it works. It's the landlord's responsibility to take care of that. And yeah, so I don't know. How long have I been talking? I got the glasses off, so 53 minutes. Yeah, I'm getting quite a bit of pain up front here in these two ears, so I want them gone. I'm trying to remember what it was like when I had individual teeth pulled. I don't remember it being a lot of fun. I remember backsliding on my Xanax because I had one of them teeth pulled in my Xanax days, and I didn't have any pain pills. And so I was eating Xanax to, because they gave me like Motrin or some shit, So that's kind of why I'm trying to save the codeine. And I am not a tough guy when it comes to pain. I have allodynia, which is an intensifier of pain. There is a line in the book Dune, I think it's in the movie too, where I think it might only be in the movie, the original movie from 1984, where this guy threatens this guy. He's like, you will do this or you will live out the rest of your days in a pain amplifier. I'm kind of like in a pain amplifier because of the allodynia, which causes the hypersensitivity and stuff. It's like that's explained in a video called, that's the first time I heard the word allodynia, but I just would call it hypersensitivity, where they explain like they do experiments on people where, like, they'll rub a Q-tip and it'll cause them discomfort, or they'll poke them with a pin, and a normal person would be like, where would you put that on a scale of pain? And they'd be like a 2 or a 3, and somebody with my condition would be like, that was a 6 or a 7. So it's like I'm a pain amplifier. So um, I think that is what happened. I think they pulled that tooth and they said, you'll be fine. They might have even told me to take some Tylenol for it. Or I think that might have been when they prescribed me the Motrin, which does nothing. And then they're gonna zap all 4 of these. And all I got is those 6 codeine pills, and a bunch of. I got like endless amounts of gabapentin or Neurontin, you know. But it's gonna be a rough week after Wednesday. Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm not just afraid. I'm not just worried about the long term effect of like missing teeth all the way on your bottom jaw, all the way to like the middle point, like right there. I'm afraid of the short term, getting through it in the short term, and the amount of pain I'll be in, because it's like maybe they'll dumb me up with the pain pills, maybe they won't. I don't know. This shitty dentist, poor people dentistry. You don't know about these things, so yeah. Anyways, so that was like my main points. It's like a lot of people, uh, I appreciate the person that Jen supplying a number, or like talk to somebody, you know, trying to help me, and other people. Um, it's like as far as like turning to Jesus or whatever, I did that 36 years ago. You know, that whole like I know the Bible very well. That whole the Gospels are pretty much burned into my brain, and I can quote you pieces of the Bible. Well, you may be saying to yourself, well, that doesn't matter, unless you're born again or unless you believe it. But I already had that experience. It's like, let's look up the video, the X experience. I already had that experience where myself was broken down and I was humble. And the universe kind of opened up for me, and it opened up my mind. And that's the only reason why I'm alive. And, but there is only so much suffering anybody can take. That's just the way it is. Oh, hopefully this was more upbeat than yesterday's disaster. Um, I do believe me. I do not feel good. I do not feel like eating. Um, I'll probably eat a couple of bagels and some cream cheese that the crooked woman from that agency bought me. I can't find the Orajel she was supposed to buy me, but it's on the receipt. So I don't know. She's very unorganized, and she was referred to by one of her coworkers, whom I trust, as worthless. And like somebody that just milking them clock will milk the clock and get them hours in no matter what, no matter how she has to finagle it. Um, I would have like just bribed her to leave that one day, but it's like I don't think bad behavior should be rewarded. You know, like here's some money, just get the fuck out of here and let me go to sleep. You can see I'm miserable and I'm tired, but you're gonna make me sit here and have stupid, uncomfortable conversation with you for 20 minutes so you can get what nine? I think they said $9 an hour, which I think should be illegal. The minimum wage around here has got to be 10, 11, $12. I don't, I don't know. $9 is just a figure that's stuck in my head. But shit, here's $10. Just get the fuck out of here. That'd be like reward bad behavior. And yeah, but hopefully, like you can see, there's a little uptick in my mood, and there's a little more acceptance about the horror that's gonna happen to me on Wednesday. And I, I have some anxiety about, like, I quit taking the blood thinners um, like October 2nd or 3rd. It's going to be October 30th, and because you have anxiety, or because I have anxiety, I'm thinking, like, okay, like, she was like, you're not on blood thinners, are you? And I'm like, no. But I was on blood thinners. I'm not being completely honest about them because I want these freaking painful things out of my head, you know? So it's like, what? How long do blood thinners? Will that complicate things or make things worse? How long do blood thinners linger? Maybe I should look that up on the internet. Um, but yeah, yeah, I much prefer like telling you fun stories, or if not fun stories, morbidly interesting stories, and telling you jokes and whatnot. But um, honestly, I'm just not up to it. So um, I gotta just get my head. I gotta try to get my bowels in some kind of order, and I gotta eat, and I gotta get my head in the right place for what's gonna happen to me in 4 short days. And I'm thinking slash and burn, baby. Just get rid of them, you know. Then I wonder if I hindsight's 2020, but I wonder if I would have like not been like that, like so focused on getting my knee taken care of, and just like fuck my teeth, fuck my partial plate, you know. I just want to get my knee taken care of. I just want to be able to walk. It seemed, if I would have been like, okay, you don't know your limits though before you crack. That's the thing. Before you before you have that breakdown moment where you're just freaking out and smashing things in public places, and then next thing you know, you're in the straight jacket. Not that that's ever happened to me before, because it hasn't. But if I just would have went to the dentist while I was trying to get something done with my knee, I think you can understand where I'm coming from. Where, like, when you have so many problems, you just want to face one of them at a time. You don't want to go face this, face that, face all of it. And then you get that overwhelmed thing that was talking about yesterday, where I was feeling overwhelmed. It's like I can maybe handle like one. I should have followed up with my dentist thing. I know I should have done that. I shouldn't have been so like monolithically um I don't even know if that's the right word, but I should not have been so focused on like the knee. Get the knee fixed. Work on the knee. Go to your knee doctor appointments. Make your knee phone calls. Knee. Get that fixed. And then, because I felt like I had just been into the dentist, and I started working on that in January. I had just been into the dentist in November, just less than a couple of months ago at that time. And then, I had that heart episode, and then now I got another heart episode, and I got to focus on my teeth. I don't have any choice on the matter. A heart episode that's, it's going to be about a month and a half old. Don't I don't get no. I, I, I just want to break in between these things. You know, man, be nice to have somebody to just hold your hand when you go into those kind of places. Just to have. I tried that, with my brother-in-law. I was like, I did not want to get that bone scan. Right? I think I told you this story before, but I did not want to get that bone scan. The whole idea was freaking me out. I didn't like the whole idea. I'm a claustrophobe. I did not like the idea of an extended MRI, in the tube thing. I didn't know how long it was going to take. They said the whole procedure takes like 5 hours because they got to inject you first and let the dye work through your system and all that. So, like, I was like, um, I told him, like, I'm going to need some support on this. It's like, I'm asking for your help. So what's he do? He gets there, and before I go in there, he's like looking at obnoxious videos of like motorcycles and stuff on YouTube on his phone, which is disturbing all the other patients waiting in the room. And then uh, when after I get injected and we leave, he's like, we go get some food, and he's like, wants to drive all the way back to another city because he wants to take a dump in his own house. And then he gets high there, and I'm like, it's time for us to go. And then he's like, dude, I'm not going in there with you, man. I'm staying in the car. And I'm like, man, you do whatever you want to do. I've said I faced stuff alone before. I just don't know how I'm going to get there because my leg wasn't working good. And I said, I don't know, about getting a wheelchair or whatever I got to do. And then he was like, no, 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 And then he was like going to change his mind. I'm like, dude, I'll be fine, you know. And it's like, yeah, that's like the opposite of emotional support. Like he's like driving like a maniac, like the way I feel like I need two seat belts on the way in there because he's angry because he has to help me out and he wants to be high and asleep on his day off. Not that I've ever done anything for him that I didn't want to do. Um, and it's like it's the opposite of having a soothing, calm presence or somebody holding your hand while you go through a procedure. And I was like, after that, I was like, I'll just go through everything alone. It's just easier. But right now, yeah, I would like to have somebody to sit with me and you know be with me in the waiting room, and I don't have anybody like that I could trust. Uh, I don't want to name names, but certain person, um, like they're just not built that way. They'd do that if I asked them to, probably. If they could get that day off from work, they'd do that, but they're not built like that. It's like when I told them about one of the more crushing events in my life that she was actually sort of a part of, as in, like, she was there when it happened. She's like, oh, you're not over that yet? Like, there's something wrong with me because I'm holding on to the, the whole thing that happened where I fell in love for the first time and um, waited for that feeling, waited for a certain feeling for years and kept myself pure and chaste, which is also like a very Jesus-y thing to do. And when I felt those feelings, then something horrible happened, and she was like, "Oh, you're not over that yet." And I was like, "Okay, person that's had sex hundreds of times, that's real good empathy you're showing there." Um, but yeah, I already talked long enough, I guess. And yeah, it would, like I said, it would be nice to have somebody there to hold my hand and comfort me and um, say nice things to me. But I don't have anyone like that. And um, the cop guy, mm, he, my cop friend would probably do something like that for me, but I'm not asking him to do that. Not with his mom. His mom probably has an appointment that day anyway, but not with his mom. Him worried about his mom, and his mom just having lymphoma and all that. It's I ain't that big of an asshole to say, yeah, you're going through all this stuff, but can you please hold my hand and give me my emotional support that I could dearly use because I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm not doing that. Anyways, again, thank you for people that actually sit through these and leave comments. And I appreciate you leaving all the comments, or the three people that left the comments yesterday. I appreciate that, you know, because I don't like to feel like I'm talking to myself. And, you know, it's helpful. Even if it's like, no matter what it is, it's helpful because it lets me know that somebody's actually, I'm just not here talking to myself. It lets me know that I might be alone in my personal life, but I'm not alone in the world. That there's other people out there, and I'll use Mason for an example, but I know that Mason's had a horrible time with his own benzo thing, and I don't know how he's been doing, and I haven't been polite enough to even ask him. I've been focusing on my own stuff, and but I know he's gone through some really horrible suffering with he's had actually a worst time uh, with his benzo experience than I've had. I just got worse other things going on. Um, but yeah, just use him as an example uh, that I know that there's other people out there that can relate to suffering, and that have strong enough constitutions and strong enough stomachs, and are strong enough mentally to sit through something like this, and to realize, like yeah, it's dark, but at least it's real. There's so little in our world that's real. With this CGI, fake ass, plasticky world we live in, there's so much that's real. At least what you're witnessing here is real. You know, unplug from that matrix and eat that gruel. I'm gruel. You remember that part in that movie where the dude unplugged from the matrix and they had to eat like crappy food and he was having like steak. There's another guy that's still stuck in the matrix and he said, "I know this steak isn't real that I'm eating, but boy, is it delicious." But some people prefer reality, over escapism, and those would be the only people I could picture. Um, that and you got to have a strong constitution to hear the things that to hear me talk about my life and stuff. If I'm really gonna get down to the nitty gritty of it, of what it's like, and I'm just want to say I appreciate y'all, and Yeah, I'll probably even be back again tomorrow if my mood improves and waste another hour of your time. So, goodbye, and as always, best wishes.